Hello and welcome to this week's episode where I speak to you about 3 opportunity costs for not having an industry specific mentor. Hey, my name is Supriya and welcome to this channel and podcast series on helping holistic practitioners scale their business, get better at customer service, and really improve the standard of service that they can attract more clients and increase their revenues so that they can thrive and fall back in love with the dream of changing lives. So thank you for tuning in. Welcome to our new subscribers. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to our corner of the world where we are always speaking of how to improve the experience of running a business, especially as a female founder. And in this episode, I really want to go into the costs of not having an industry specific mentor. Now, why I chose to talk about this is because I often get asked, hey Supriya, how do I choose a mentor for me? So this is a broad question, and when I get asked, I'm usually mingling with a lot of people that are in the holistic wellness profession, like yoga teachers, Reiki practitioners, kinesiologists, physiotherapists, Ayurveda practitioners, and the likes, right? But don't forget, these people are really passionate about what they do, what they've studied, and they are wanting to share that with people because they have realized the benefits of having this tool under their belt. So when they ask me such a question, what I always look at is, hey, what is the level they are at the moment? And when I think about the level, I want to just quickly go over how we decide on what the level of the person is so that we can better guide them, right? And I say we because I work with other colleagues that help me do this myself. I belong to a couple of associations and we're constantly cross-referring each other, clients and mentees, so that we can help each other thrive in the industry. So the level is decided by, hey, are they just starting out in business? Like, have they got any clients? If they haven't, then they have different needs versus the people that have already got clients. And another group comes where they are running a business. They're like up to here in their business. They're not functioning well and they're not growing past their pain points. And those are the groups of people I work with, also the middle level that I work with. So if you can see, there's 3 levels. One is just starting out, no clients yet. The second is the with clients, but just learning to develop their craft of working with people. And then the third level is people that have too many clients and too much to do, and they need to overcome their pain points to be able to thrive as a business and a business owner plus a therapist. So let's get started with the need for a mentor, right? So why you need a mentor at each of those levels is because after you've studied something, right, you need to know exactly what direction you need to go in. And why the mentor plays such a key role in this is because they've already done the journey up until the point where you are about to start, and they can show you the path and notice the smaller details that you may not have the bandwidth or the lens to look at it with. So we call that a cognitive lens, and a cognitive lens comes from the identity that you're in at that time, which is, oh, I'm just starting out. Now, somebody that's in the middle lane, like the middle level, they'll know that, I've got clients and I'm finding that these are problems I'm facing. I am facing some of the emotions that come up. So the middle level goes to practitioners that actually have seen clients and they're attracting all sorts of clients and they want to be available and serve them, but often they find that they're either overgiving or undergiving, or they're not able to retain clients and start to build that credibility like they had learned they had to in school or in their courses. So in the middle level, what is really necessary is to pair up with a mentor that has the skill set and has the skill set to give you more technique related conversations and advice so that you can take it, implement it, and have feedback to find the best possible answers for you, for your people, for the people that you're serving especially. So what has become really apparent on my journey as a mentor is that when I first started, I found the industry specific mentors for me that were in the community that were already running businesses, and I went and shadowed them. And I actually went and spoke to them about my pain points, and I got them to give me feedback about what they would do in that scenario. And then based on that, I went ahead and implemented some of them to see if that actually resonated with me and my clients. And that's how I learned to find my footing. Now, don't forget, I've been in this industry for 15 years and I have had many mentors along my journey. But one thing I've noticed is every stage of my development has brought a different level of mentor according to my developmental needs. So I just want to reinforce this to you, the listener, that you also need to notice what sort of needs do you have currently, and how you assess that also can come from the mentor that you know of. They can help you find that out, or even a coach. They can help you discern what sort of needs do you currently have that you need to go into get a mentor for. And the last level is the business mentor that you need to be able to become really effective in your day-to-day operations. And here you're not really trying to find your, footing with your techniques and your skill set. You're really trying to learn how to operate effectively so that you can sustain the business and your passion and your energy for the craft that you have developed over these years and months and hours, where you want to keep your light lit so that you can keep going and serving with all your heart from all your expert knowledge, and also build that community around you of really loyal clients. How's this sitting for you? Let me know in a comment, or just reflect on how this is sitting for you. Where do you think you are currently on that level journey? Now, that question aside, what I really want you to also consider are the costs of not having a mentor on your journey. I made the mistake of, it wasn't a mistake, but you learn from your mistakes, right? So when I was just first starting out, I started as a yoga teacher, and I spent a lot of time in India, and then I came to Australia. And for a good 3 months, I was just not doing anything, and I really didn't know what to do to start. So I was at a place of self-doubt, and I felt like, oh my God, no one's going to want to learn from me. Who would really want me to show them what yoga is? And back then, yoga wasn't really popular. No one really knew about yoga as a tool, right? As a practice, unless you went to, the popular areas where it was funky and very in thing to do. So having that sort of an environment, I had to lean into some community, mentors. I call them mentors because the community that I was in had quite a few leaders that were wanting to bring the community together. So this brought my awareness to the fact that actually one of the things that I was doing was hiding from people that could guide me, but at that time I didn't really know who to talk to, or maybe I did, but I actually didn't want to reach out to them to say, look, this is what I'm having trouble with, can you give me some guidance? Instead, I hid myself, I stayed in my corner and said, I need to figure this out on my own. Yeah. So I know this is not something new. You probably have gone through this yourself. But yeah, everyone goes through this fear of being found out, like an imposter syndrome at the beginning. And throughout, whenever you're growing, it will come up. And you might check out my other episode on this, how to overcome imposter syndrome, to start thinking about, what comes up and how to start overcoming it, because your work is important. You have to get help to overcome those fears that a beginner has to be able to start doing the thing you're here to do. So going back to that place in my life, I have to admit I was hiding my weakness, and I didn't want to ask for help because I didn't want to be found out for having this weakness. I didn't know how to do this either by myself, but I still, let myself sit there. Until, of course, I met some community people who were doing things for the community, and I kind of got pushed into, and brought into starting a community-based class teaching yoga. By the way, I'm very proud of my younger self now that I did just do what was required of me to get started, because if I hadn't gotten started, then I probably would have waited another year and practice some more, and I probably wouldn't have had gone through the learning curve that I had to go through to take the next step, which is starting my own studio, right? So looking at that part of me, which was very fearful, the opportunity costs were that I actually wasn't growing with guidance. I was just finding my footing, and I realized I was burning out, meaning I wasn't getting any feedback that was meaningful for me. I was just, doing my own thing, looking like I've got it all figured out. But internally, I wasn't having very much fun, except, validation was coming from external sources like unexperienced yoga students who were just telling me, oh, what a great class, and compliments. But the compliments didn't really bring any meaning for me to develop as a teacher. You can guess how valuable these lessons are anyway, because later on I did become a teacher trainer, and that all, informed, those experiences informed my ability to be a good mentor to my mentees, right? So my point to this is the opportunity cost that you might be missing, number one, is finding the best, quickest way to overcome your imposter syndrome and getting started now. If you're right at the beginning, you might, beginning of anything, like if you're at the beginning of level 1, level 2, or level 3, you need to recognize that you're having an imposter syndrome like feeling and you're not getting the help you need. And if you're feeling that, then it's time for you to go and seek that, because you're wasting a lot of time plus energy. So 3 categories of opportunity costs that I'd like to go into today is time, energy, money, right? Time, energy, money. So one of those behaviors that you might have already experienced, which is, I don't know enough, so I won't do this, or I'm just going to keep going until the solution appears. All of this is a side effect of having that imposter syndrome, or that fear of being found out for not knowing it all. And that is where the mentor plays a key role in your industry, showing you the way. Now, why you need to invest in a mentor is because one day you are going to be a mentor to others. And that's just the way the tradition of, being a professional works. Everyone that starts as at the beginning will come to a point where others will need help from you, and you need to have the ability to show up for them, because that's your journey of expansion. I love this topic, by the way. I'm very passionate about it, so I'm going to keep going, right? So stick with me here. So opportunity cost number 1 is time. The time that you spend waiting for external validation, for some sign. I still hear people talking about, the universe. I asked the universe for a sign to help me take that next step. And, a lot of magical thinking goes behind taking that next step. Now, I don't want to, insult you or your thinking. I want to just acknowledge you. If you're waiting for a sign or a permission slip, here it is. I'm giving it to you. This is your time to take the next step. And without taking the next step on your journey, you won't be able to find the solution to where you're currently at. So that's time that you could have been putting toward developing your next student, or developing your craft, or developing your business systems. Does that make sense? Because ultimately, the cost, the bottom line is that you are wasting a finite commodity. Time is the most valuable asset that we all have. And if you don't act on things straight away or without too much of a delay, especially when you're aware of your problem and you're not going out to get the solution and you're waiting for some magical sign to appear, can you see the problem with that thinking instead of taking the action to figure it out? Because the universe can only meet you halfway. You still got to meet at 50%. So I tell this to my mentees all the time, which is, I'm not here to lift your weight. I'm here to show you the way, right? And you have to also put in the work. You have to take the steps that I'm asking you to take. And so that's level 2, level 3 category of people. But the first level is the place where you need to recognize that there is a lot of time that you could be saving to be able to do the things that you're here to do and start developing what you need to develop. And sometimes, and I've seen this on my journey of being a yoga teacher mentee, a lot of people think that to be mentored by a yoga mentor, you have to actually go into their studio to shadow them, to see them teach. Not really, because it depends on your level. Like, your level of action is determining the level of results you're getting. Your mentor can't walk in your classroom with you. So the first step might be for you to actually learn how to have these kinds of conversations. I still remember the uncomfortable conversations I've had with my mentors, and the discomfort came from my ego, right? My ego of, oh my God, now I have to say what I don't know, because our past really comes in and tries to protect us to go, oh God, I need to come across as a proficient student, someone who knows and capable. So just be careful that you're not sabotaging yourself and the time that you have to be able to dedicate that toward moving forward instead of staying stuck. Now, the next one is the energy cost. The energy cost, I became very familiar with this when I realized that I was spending a lot of energy on this protection of, this is my journey, this is my business, this is my adventure, and this is my class. It takes a lot of energy to take ownership of these things. But until I met my mentor who helped me release all of this tension and really start having fun in a guided way, obviously, but not like fun as in, you don't give a damn. When you learn how to deliver your classes or with more technique, with more connection to a methodology, then you can bring in more efficiency, and you have the ability to expand your lens to look at the experience you're having plus doing the experience, doing the do, right? So that is a step that you need to graduate to if you want to last a long time and you want to get to level 3 where you are running a business well, and you are being trusted by your people to deliver them success. So looking at the energy cost that you are experiencing, or there's an energy cost for not getting a mentor for your journey when you find yourself overworking. Overfunctioning comes in the form of fear about paying bills, fear about customer service, fear about trusting other people, fears about not being able to communicate what you need to communicate clearly, fear about giving your clients the wrong thing, or fear about not being good enough so you don't market yourself. All of these fears are draining your energy, and the longer you stay in that zone, the more energy it's costing you, and it's getting drained and leaking out of you. And what tends to happen is this tends to result in a downward slope of, losing a lot of money. It will show up as low cash flow. It will show up as low customer flow or overflow that you can't handle, or it will show up as you not being able to, serve to your best capacity. And it will also show up in, temptations of doing another course and doing another thing and getting a job. It just shows up in those ways, which, if you think about it, if our bandwidth is dedicated to that one thing that we're honing, like an artist gets better and better on their craft because they're so focused on that one thing, then, they get there faster than the person who's doing 100 other things and they're trying to get better at this one thing. You just can't use your energy like that. So a long time ago, when I invested myself on the Ayurveda journey, I really started imparting this to my students, because my whole teacher training became about, increasing ojas, which is the life force, the resilience. And we don't look at burnout like but holistic health professionals, we don't look at burnout as something that happens just on a day where you've had too much. Burnout is like habitual patterns taking place every day for a long time that suddenly gets you to this place, and then you realize, I'm not passionate about this anymore. It's just not worth it. But that not worth it has been happening for a while. Those habits have to change and evolve. So your energy cost is very high. And if you're not wanting to one day stop doing this thing, and you shouldn't, because if you have invested already 5 years into this, you need to keep going. And so that's my reminder to you. Again, if you're in that place, then you need to seek out a mentor that can help you adopt new habits and patterns according to where you're at, what you're experiencing, to just cut them off and just move forward. I'm sure you've heard of that book, The Art of Not Giving F's, right? So it is that, right? We are giving too many F's about too many things, so our energy is leaking in too many different places. So it's just like you have to now cut off all the excess and bring everything into the one thing that you need to keep stuck at. Not keep stuck at, but you know what I mean, right? Hone and practice. And this is where a mentor really comes in with all the energy that you need to give you the passion, give you the advice that you need to be able to work with you. Last one is your money. The money cost that's involved from not having a mentor is huge. Obviously, I already explained to you, time is a finite commodity. Like, it's the most expensive asset that one has. Every human, right? Every living creature, this is the thing that is not going to be given to you in surplus. So your time has lots of attached costs. So the more time you can save in waiting for, the next step, then you need to find a mentor like that. A mentor that's just a little bit ahead of you, that you can access straight away, that can give you the answers straight away. Go to them, get the answer, put it into action. Now you also need to also see money. Money costs are often, at the beginning, people think, oh, I can't invest because I'm not making enough yet. But what we also forget is that to make different decisions, you need to have different thinking behind it. And you're not going to be able to change your thinking with the same mind that knows nothing but what you've been doing so far. You could read all the books, you could listen to all the podcasts, you can listen to all the YouTube talks, but until you actually expose yourself to a mentor that's going to help you look at yourself clearly and give you advice and give you guidance to do what you need to do next, you're not going to change. Your thinking is not going to change. I go into this in our programs because it's such a different gear to operating from, because once you have developed your skill set, you sort of think in a different way. But then this is a different skill set that you need to develop, and that will take you to think differently. And the thinking can't come from you because you don't have that. And that's why you have to pair up with a mentor. So financial loss happens when you're not willing to invest in your mentor or invest in a mentor. And sometimes our current thinking will say many things like, I'm going to give you just a couple of examples, which I see a lot of people think, is that, I need the best mentor. I need the best in the industry. Well, the best in the industry don't give you one-on-ones, and you probably can't afford their one-on-ones. But if you can get into any container with them, go for it. Do it. Whatever is your capacity, you should do it. Sometimes you're going to see that the threshold that you have to cross to make that change happen for yourself is on the other side of your comfort zone. Maybe you're not comfortable spending money to make more money because you've never done it for you before. And being a holistic practitioner, you've already had so many moments of facing fears and overcoming challenges on a personal level that maybe this is going to challenge you. And that's part of the process. And then the next thing I see people do is that they'll say things like, until I make a certain amount, I just can't make myself do this. I don't think I need to. So one of my mentors, I've just invested in a new mentor for myself, for my level. So he says that if you want to succeed, you need to be able to let go of your old identity and then just follow, just go through with the tough part and do it. Do what is required, what your dream requires you to do instead of what you think you should do. So sometimes you might be thinking, oh my God, this is so hard, but the money that you're missing out on is going to affect your bottom line, isn't it? So you might think, I can't expect myself to be making money in my business anyway, depending on where you're at. Maybe you have all these justifications for why you're not supposed to make money. But the entire reason why you are working in this job is to make a living out of it, right? So this is a thing that you need to come out of, a mind set or a set point that you've given yourself to think in this way. This has to go. And a mentor will reflect that to you. So I hope I've given you 3 awesome costs of not getting a mentor. And so far, what I went through with you is the 3 levels of stages that you will need to seek out a mentor on your journey as a professional that are there to serve others who are seeking your guidance, who are seeking your help, but your ineffectiveness could be getting in the way. And so the mentor is the person that's going to help you take the next step. Now, don't expect miracles from a mentor, right? The mentor is not your red pill. You're the red pill. You need to take it. You need to take the actions and learn from that. I have invested in the wrong mentors in the past and learned very essential and valuable lessons to be able to choose the next mentor as well. Now, that is the journey of life where you see yourself as the investment that keeps giving back to you your life because of the new decisions you're able to make with the help of others. So, my friend, this is the end of our chat today. So I hope you've gotten a lot of value out of our chat today about the 3 opportunity costs that not having a mentor can have for you and your trajectory in your business. If you have any questions, please reach out. And one more thing, I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions or comments, if you'd like some help to choose a mentor for you, feel free to drop a line or a message at hello@supriyar.com, and I'd love to be in touch with you to see what you think. And also, don't forget to give us a like and share this with someone who needs it. I really appreciate you being a part of our community. With your engagement, it helps me get my message out and help more people along this journey. Thank you so much.